Okay, Paige, I'm going to list some of the accolades. I'm just going to do it right off the bat. Gatorade Athlete of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Player of the Year, first person to win both at the same time. Big East Player of the Year 2 times. And a number of things that we probably would have to be here all day if we continue to list. Which one means the most?
I mean, the answer for me would probably be like the team accomplishments, but I feel like obviously winning Player of the Year my freshman year was an amazing experience. I was very surprised to know that I was the first person to do that with all the great talent that's come through women's college basketball. But I think it was just a testament to like my team and how much they embraced me, the coaching staff, how much I learned that entire freshman year, and just coming in. It's hard to be a freshman in college, but let alone UConn. So just to have that rewarding feeling of just seeing all my hard work pay off throughout my entire high school career as well, it meant a lot to me.
I mean, it's crazy that we sit here and list all these awards and accomplishments. You talk about winning that award your freshman year. Where have you grown the most over the course of your career at UConn?
I think the approach I have in terms of taking care of my body, how much I've grown and matured in not just tying up my shoes and getting right on the court. It's activation, lifting. I used to hate being in the weight room my freshman year,
Really?
so I've really come to embrace that and actually enjoy it. How much I sleep, how well I'm eating, and doing Pilates, getting in the sauna, getting in the cold tub, hot tub. I hate the sauna and I hate the cold tub, but I do both because it's good for me. So it's like seeing that much growth and how much I've come in those terms. It's been a lot.
Pilates? Mm-hmm. It's hard, right? On the reformer?
I actually do a lot more on the mat because I do it like virtually. Sure. But I've always said like Pilates is probably the hardest form of workout that I do.
Just wait. If you ever try a reformer, that thing will humble you.
No, yeah. I've tried it a couple times, but yeah, I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah. And how long were you sitting in the cold plunge for?
Well, it's like a contrast. So you do hot first and then cold, and you go back and forth. It's supposed to be like 3 minutes each. But then I just end up sitting in the cold tub for like 10 minutes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's like a certain point you get numb.
And then you're just you don't feel anything.
Yeah, you can chill in there.
Yeah.
You could do that Kevin Hart cold tub thing, probably.
He should get you in there.
See, that's the thing. Like the cold tub and the ice bath are two different things.
That's true.
Because the ice bath is awful. Mm-hmm. But you got to do both. Like when you're on the road, you got to do a cold tub.
Right.
No, on the road you have to do ice bath.
Because there are no
cold, there are no cold tubs. So
my favorite quote from you from this summer. Everybody saw the world tour, but they didn't see the work tour. What was the work? What did you focus on the court?
Again, this was like the first off-season where I wasn't rehabbing something, so just working on total body strength, continue to work on upper body, lower body. Being in the weight room was a huge focus, and working through my movements that I do out on the floor. But I feel like I just have so much room to improve on everything. Like I feel like in all aspects of my game, you can never reach perfection. Like nobody shoots 100% from the field. Nobody never turns the ball over. So I feel like there's always something for me to work on, but a lot of it has been obviously using my strength, how to use my strength, playing with pace, using ball screens, playing on and off the ball, working on my catch and shoot with distance, and working on my shooting off the dribble. So a lot of things.
Everything.
But the World Tour looked pretty cool. What was your favorite thing you did, and why was it hanging out at the U.S. Open with Frances Tiafoe?
That was Megan's.
That was my favorite thing you did, by the way.
I would probably say like the U.S. Open experience was probably definitely up there. I would say probably my favorite. I have so many favorites, it's crazy. But yeah, the U.S. Open was an amazing experience. I'd never really watched tennis before. It was my first tennis match. I watched Frances in D.C. at like the D.C. Open, and then I got to go to the U.S. Open. Just the environment, the level of competition, like it's so opposite from basketball because it's like when they're playing, like you have to be extremely quiet, and it's like totally opposite. But it just makes like, I don't know, the competition just louder as much as it is quiet. And then actually after one of the matches, some of the Scandal and Grey's Anatomy cast were there, and that was just like a whole thing. I still can't believe it was real. Like I used to watch Grey's Anatomy all throughout my high school, like freshman, sophomore, and junior and senior year. So I met Meredith Grey. I met.
You actually geeked out on that one.
No, I screamed.
Right?
Like I saw her on the TV on like the billboard, like who's here, and I screamed, and I'm like, wow. Oh my god. Yeah, the Shonda Rhimes, the gang.
Best.
It's crazy.
Best.
What do you think of like all the rooms and places that an orange ball has taken you, right? And I'm not just talking about like the basketball accolades. I'm talking about being able to go to the U.S. Open and you know all the different things that you've been able to do because of what you do on the court.
Yeah, I was just talking about how blessed and fortunate I am. I have a great faith, and I believe like everything happens for a reason, and the things that basketball has taught me, the rooms it's brought me in, the places I've been, the people I've met, like I never could have imagined like I'm living in my childhood dream. And I'm just so grateful. I just have an overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything that's came my way, and that's through the highs and lows and through everything. I feel like it's made me who I am. But yeah, it's just crazy surrealness, and I'm just enjoying it.
You have dealt with the injuries that you've had to come back from. You have a ton of eyeballs on you. You're one of the most recognizable names in women's basketball. How do you handle this pressure?
Pressure's a privilege. Like I'm so blessed to be where I am. I was just the young kid looking up to the Minnesota Lynx dynasty and worshiping them, and like they were everything to me. And so I try to be just a great role model and somebody for the younger generation to look up to. And just as much as sometimes like you have a bad day or like you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, like every single day I get to wake up and do what I love. It's a blessing, and I never want to take that for granted, because I've seen it firsthand how quick it can be taken away from you, and how quick you'll miss it, and how quick you'll miss the bad days. And you just, I don't know, I've just became like just so grateful for where I am every single day, and just interpreting and framing things from bad to how can I turn the situation for good. And it's not I have to do this, it's I get to do this. So it's like life is what you make it, and I think I'm just trying to continue to be grateful and enjoy every single moment.
I know music gets you through a lot. So what's the gospel song that's gotten you through things, and what's the gospel song you use to celebrate?
Yeah, I think Thank You for It All by Marvin Sapp is like, you thank God for it all, like the good, bad, the ugly, the big and the small. Like you thank him for it all, because it's all a part of my journey. I feel like the injury too, like I could have looked at it at first I did as this devastating thing, like why did this happen to me? But instead I looked at it like, why not? Like why can I not come back from this injury even better? Why can I not shape this to better me for my future? And then Smile by Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just smiling, just enjoying life, just everything that you've worked for, everything that's came your way, just enjoying it.
You're playing for one of the most legendary coaches, not just in women's basketball, in basketball in general. How would you describe playing for Coach Auriemma?
A dream. Obviously, some days we probably don't like it.
I don't know if I've heard anyone say a dream, right?
I know.
Some days a dream, some days a nightmare. So
Right.
best of both worlds.
It's like a Meek Mill song, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's everything I could ever want. It's why I came here, to be coached tough, to be coached like a lot of people don't want to hear things and it gets swept under the rug, but he has everything laid out in front of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it really makes you just focus and lock in and want to be better. But he's relatable too. Like I can go up to his office, chit chat whenever. He has a lot of wisdom. Got a couple years on me, so he's like he's got more knowledge than I do. So just going to his office, just chatting, asking him questions, asking for guidance, asking how he dealt with things that I'm going through. But yeah, it's amazing. I love him. Obviously, some days we probably want to punch each other, but
Sarah said he was a lot nicer on the visit than he's been in practice.
yeah, that's how it always is. That's how it always is.
What is he challenging you to do the most right now as you are getting through this preseason and the season starts up?
I think to lead, and not just by example, but with my voice as well. I feel I'm definitely the most experienced player here at UConn this year. Played the most. I've done a lot, so I've experienced a lot of different things, and I'm continuing to learn how to use my voice, and it's different. Like I can't talk to one player how I would talk to another, and that's getting to know them off the court as well and what works best for them. And also taking accountability. It's hard because as a senior, as the person who's most experienced, every single thing is your fault, and you want to make excuses sometimes, like I wasn't even on the court, like how is that my fault? But it's just taking accountability for it and knowing that what I do and how I portray myself and how my teammates respond or see me respond to mistakes or good and bad. Like, that's what they're going to focus on. And I'm just trying to be a leader in that regard and just showing them the way here at UConn, and just continue to use my voice, lead by example, lead by how hard I work. And so I think that's a challenge every single day that I'm embracing and learning to get better at.
You have that leadership aspect now, especially since you are the oldest now on your team. What conversations do you all have in the locker room about the standard being winning a national title?
Just like not focusing on that. Like, obviously everybody knows that's the goal, but you have to win every single day at practice in order to win the national championship. Like, obviously the national championship isn't until April, so the habits we build up until then are what's going to get us there. And so really it's just focusing on every day for itself. Like, we need to conquer this day, we need to conquer this practice, we need to conquer this day in the weight room, and continue to build those habits and minimize our mistakes and just try to get them to be non-habits, like something that we just don't let it happen anymore and not continue to have our mistakes in October, November, December be the same mistakes that we're making in April and March. Like, every single day, let's find a new mistake to make, basically, and then fix it at the end of the day.
I feel like everybody sees the glory. They see you guys on television, see the games and everything. I don't think young people especially realize how hard practices are for you guys. Like, can you take us inside a UConn practice and why they're so notoriously difficult?
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's not even physically. Like, everybody thinks, like, oh, they probably run sprints all the time. Every single time they make a mistake, like, they're getting on the line. But it's the way they mentally challenge you in terms of you can't emulate a game in practice, but practice is honestly harder than the game because the way coach challenges us, it's like he's every opponent, he's every crowd that's booing you and wishing for you to lose. He's every time, like, you miss every single shot in the game, but can you make the last one the one that really matters? So he knows, obviously he has the experience to do it, and he knows what it takes to have a championship type season. So he challenges in ways that, like, it can make or break you and the way that you respond to his coaching, and the way that you respond to his challenges. So I would say it's really more mental than physical, but obviously it's a lot of physical as well.
We know you're on a tight schedule. Just a couple more things. One, the fit. I know you grade your fits with your stylist. Which one? What's the grade you're giving today?
I would say it's a pretty chill. I would say a smooth, like 8 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
Kith is based in New York, so
You're trying to be
had
intentional.
bring out the Kith sweater in New York, and then honestly, I'm not gonna lie, these pants are off Amazon. Just some like
Oh,
That's
mix
nice.
and match. That's the good.
and then the loafers. I love a good loafer. So.
And then you want to ask what TikToks.
How long does it take for you to memorize a TikTok dance?
I would say a day.
Okay.
Honestly, like, you learn it. It's surprising because you learn it one day and then you sleep on it and then you like
Mental
just,
practice.
Yeah, it
mental
just
reps.
becomes
It's a real
like
thing.
natural the next day. So I would say a full 24 hours.
Okay.
You're like really smooth, by the way. Like, I know you get that a lot, but like.
Thank you. I've grown a lot. in
The rhythm
my
has grown.
smoothness. Yeah.